Hey guys, welcome to Mobile DJ Quick Tips. It's been a while since I've done this, but I recently bought Virtual DJ 8 Infinity at the BPM show, and a few weeks before that I bought a 2006 white MacBook, which I'm currently using to record this video. Uh, and it's not got the highest of specs. It's running sort of 2 GB of RAM. It's got a Core 2 Duo 1.83 GHz processor, so nothing too fancy, and it's only running OS X Lion. But it's running the more than the minimum of what Virtual DJ require. So the problem I was getting was the CPU was spiking quite considerably for like minimal things, like loading tracks, and it was, even when it went down to not doing anything, it was still at 2-3 bars. Now throughout this video it may stay sort of at a high CPU usage because I'm using a screen recorder, but if you follow these tips you should find it reduces your CPU quite significantly. So what I'm going to do is just take you through a couple options on Virtual DJ, and we can see if we can get it to reduce the CPU. So if I just load in a song, this is usually what I noticed to sort of take most of my CPU up when loading songs. And the first setting I kind of reduced to stop this is if I go into our settings menu up here, and then I go down to options, and then down to performances. There's this one setting down here. To show all these extra options you might have to tick the show advanced options box up the top, but there's one called song load priority, and it says lower song load priority to prevent audio dropouts whilst loading, and I just changed the setting from normal to low. And what that means is it's going to use a lower amount of CPU but load the song more slowly rather than try to load the song quicker and use more CPU. So ideally when you're DJing you're already loading a song, like you're not throwing it on last minute, so you don't need it to load like instantly. So that's a good setting to adjust to kind of drop your CPU a little bit when loading tracks in. The next thing I found was it was still kind of setting quite high when just sort of playing songs and not loading things in, but just kind of playing songs and playing around with the virtual DJ interface. So the way I found sorting that out is it's got something to do with the skin options. So I went into here, and there's one called Skin Disable Hardware Acceleration. Now, what this means is it just uses sort of extra acceleration in your computer's hardware to try and make the skin look as smooth and make the skin look as nice as it possibly can. So things like points of interest in Virtual DJ 8 and the waveforms look a lot brighter. Now if you disable this, it makes your waveforms a little dimmer and you don't get things like points of interest, but it reduces a lot of CPU, I found, for me, and makes it run a lot smoother. Also, further to this in skin options, I also reduced the frames per second. So if I just hover over this, it said set the number of frames per second the skin is updated. A higher value will make the skin look smoother. A lower value will make CPU usage lower. So obviously the lower you take it, the more laggy the skin's going to look, and I don't particularly want that. But I don't particularly need it looking crisp graphics either. So I took it down 5 frames per second to 25, and that kind of smoothed things out for me. The next thing I found was the gallery window. Now, if I just get rid of this options thing, this sort of cover art flow thing here lagged a lot when sort of doing anything. It just kind of added a lot of extra CPU usage to it when it was just spinning around and doing things like that. So what I did was just go up to the search box up here and type cover, and you got a thing called cover flow, and it's under smart, and I just turned that to no, which means it now gets rid of that, as you've seen in the background there. And if I close this out, it's got rid of the cover flow thing in the background there. So that's the cover flow gone. And I find that just doing those things there smoothed it out a lot. But also, if you go undercover again, there's things like cover download, where it automatically downloads cover pictures when a new file without a cover is found. Now you don't want it to be trying to download things when you're at a gig, so I turned this off to no. And also things like just coming up the top here and turning off your Wi-Fi. If you're not using your Wi-Fi, why do you need it on trying to find a Wi-Fi network? It's just not worth having on. And also things like Bluetooth. If you're not going to be using your Bluetooth, turn it off, and that's going to give you a little more usage of your CPU. Another app I use is Caffeine. It just keeps the system awake, stops the screen from dimming, stops any hard drives from sort of going into standby mode, and just keeps it all working like that. And obviously the other tips I have is just get it to add everything you're going to use to your index. So this is my external DJ hard drive. So right click this, just go batch, get it to add it to the search database so it knows where everything is, and do it for some other folders if you have other folders that you use for music. And also once it's done that, this might take a while depending on how much stuff you have, but get it to analyze everything for BPM and things like that. And also it can help using things like MP3 cleaners or validators just to check through all your MP3s and make sure they're okay. But just following those tips in particular should kind of lower your CPU usage a lot and make it run a lot smoother for you. So I hope that's helped, guys. If you have any questions or want more virtual DJ videos, let me know.